All right, folks, welcome back. Today we're doing another amazing survival meal. This is classic veal piccata with freeze-dried wholesalers. Let's check it out. All right, folks, welcome back. So during a disaster or survival situation, comfort food can be very welcome, and cooking with regular items instead of prepackaged items can certainly give you a sense of normalcy. You're not just pouring water into a bag and hoping you'll like what's inside of it. You're actually making stuff you already know and you already like. And that's one of the reasons I love stocking up on freeze-dried wholesalers, and this is one of their newest products. This is the pounded veal cutlets. They are uncooked and unbreaded. We're going to show you how to make veal piccata with this. Another reason I like doing these videos is because we discovered a lot of people during the pandemic really hadn't cooked much for themselves and didn't know how to cook a lot of stuff. You know, maybe you could boil water and make ramen, but you weren't experienced in cooking, and maybe during the pandemic you actually kind of taught yourself how to cook. But for those that maybe aren't experienced enough, something like this can really be a nice home-cooked meal, and it's very simple to make. This is a very easy, it sounds fancy, it's very, very easy to make. And the 25-year shelf life just makes this a no-brainer. Now, one of the things I never mentioned about freeze-dried wholesalers in general is that they do multiple tests to back up that 25-year shelf life. They're performed in a lab. I believe they use a local university to do the testing, actually. And they simulate adverse conditions and time to determine if the food will survive. They do multiple freeze and thaw tests on these. They beat the bags up. They expose them to heat, extreme cold, all that. And through these tests, they're able to find out if the food has aged or if it's the same. They provide a product that no one else can do, and they give the end user peace of mind, all right? Their food's stored in U.S. foreign offices, military bases, embassies, our warships at sea. So they trust freeze-dried wholesalers to keep them fed no matter what, and I trust them too because their food's awesome, let me tell you. So today, we're making veal piccata. Let's get started. It's a very simple dish. It's a classic comfort food. You can serve this with rice, mashed potatoes, even pasta, so your choices are pretty wide open. Today we're just making the veal, but you can serve this with anything you want, okay? And most of that stuff is stuff you've already stockpiled away. If you're a prepper, Lord knows we have rice. So really simple to make. The prep time on this is about 10 minutes. Of course, it takes me longer to do it because I've got to bring all this stuff out here to cook, but it'll take you about 10 minutes to prep the stuff up. Cook time is about 16 minutes total by the time you get the sauce done, and total on this is 26 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do a sauce reduction today using this stuff. Very, very simple. You don't need to add flour to the sauce to thicken it or anything. You're actually going to be boiling the water out of the sauce that we put together and making it thicker on its own naturally, and that makes it really, really good. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is half a cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to put some salt and pepper in it already, and that's the only seasoning you're going to do to this. Now, you can use a pan to dredge this through, but again, you're not going to put a heavy breading on this. You're literally just going to be dropping these in here and just doing a light coat on them, and that's it. So we're going to get these all breaded, and I'm going to put like about a teaspoon of olive oil in there. We're going to heat that olive oil up, and I'll bring you back once these are ready to put in there. All right, so I got these all breaded up, and we're going to be turning on this little stove here. And folks, if you don't have one of these little butane stoves, and you're a new prepper, and you got all electric stoves in your house, and you're always wondering about how you're going to cook, definitely get yourself one of these. Again, you want to use it in a well-ventilated area. Most homes with very high ceilings and an open window will be just fine, but they are really, really handy, and they're so cheap. These retail for around $20. You can get more expensive ones that are fancy and fold out and do all that funky stuff, but you really don't need that. You get two of these and you got two burners. You can cook almost anything with two burners, so I definitely like them. I forget how much this one was, but Walmart has them for like $19. The butane is also cheaper and easier to store because it comes in those tall, thin bottles instead of the big round ones, you know, your isobutane or the 1 pound propane. So it's a little bit cheaper too. So we're going to heat this up. Then I'm going to put these in here. Now remember, you just want to cook these a little bit. You don't want to go crazy because you're going to be putting them back in the sauce to heat them back up. When you're done cooking these, you can always put them aside and cover them with tin foil. I generally don't, although I will for the video. I generally don't because I know the sauce is going to be warm when I put it in there and it'll heat it back up. That's why I undercook it a little tiny bit because I want that sauce to kind of cook in. So I believe our pan is close to being hot enough. Looks like it. You can usually tell with the oil when it starts to haze up there. So you want to cook these, if you're doing more than like 2 or 3, you don't want to overcrowd the pan. So you kind of want to do them just so they all fit in there. You know, you don't want to go crazy and put them on top of each other or anything like that as I proceed to put one on top of the other. Anyway, we're going to just brown those up, and I'll bring you back when they are done. All right, so we know we got this pretty good. You can see they're browned up a little bit. Definitely perfect. We're just going to take them out of there, store them here. You will get a little bit of splatter, because remember, there's still some water in that, so you're going to get a little splatter out. I do have some tin foil back here that, just for doing it correctly, I'm going to cover them up and put that to the side with that. So next up, your next step, adding the stock, okay, your chicken stock, and we'll tell you how much, your cooking sherry, your lemon juice, capers to the pan. Now remember, we're going to scrape off anything that kind of got stuck on there to add a little more flavor too. So I'm going to add this stuff here. We're going to turn this down a whole lot. Actually, we'll turn it off for now because that pan is plenty hot enough. So we're going to add, let's see, half a cup of your cooking sherry. And I got half a cup here. You know what amazes me? This stuff is 17% alcohol. And you buy it in the cooking section, and they don't even ask you for ID. It's really kind of funny. All right, so we got that in there. Okay. Next up, we are going to add the 1 cup of chicken stock. Now, this is going to look like a whole lot of liquid, right? But it's going to reduce down. We're going to heat it up, too. I want to get the last of that out of there. And the chicken stock I use is this stuff here, okay? You can buy this in Walmart in the, Hispanic food section, I believe. It's very inexpensive, no big deal. Okay, next up, we're going to add our capers. And for those of you that don't know, capers are very, very salty. So depending on how much salt you like, this is actually a really good salty dish, but depending on how much salt you like, you want to go up or down on your use of these. I usually start with 2 tablespoons, so let's see, because I like it salty. All right, there's 1. I'll get the liquid out of there. Let's just dump that in there. Get the capers, actually, not just the liquid. I'm sure you get some more out of there. There we go. We're kind of stuck in there, but we got the capers in there. Now we're going to heat this up, okay? You're going to heat this stuff up, and you're going to bring this to a boil. Then you're going to simmer it for like 3 minutes, and you're going to notice that part of the stuff starts to boil off and it gets thicker, a little bit thicker. Not much, but a little bit. So we're going to fire this back up. There we go. Bring this to a boil, and I'll bring you back once it's starting to reduce a little bit. Then we can add the other stuff. I'm going to add the lemon juice in here too, just a little bit. And again, I just use this stuff. It stores forever. It's perfectly fine. You can use a fresh lemon if you want. Matter of fact, we'll squirt a little bit of that in here. Usually I use about a tablespoon. But you can just take a fresh lemon and squeeze it in there as well. And it kind of adds a little bit to the taste too. So we're going to let that reduce down. I'm going to clean up my mess here and bring you back when I can show you what it looks like when it's reducing. All right, so we got it to a boil, and you'll see the bubbles start to form, and it start to thin out a little bit. Kind of want to stir it around like that. Get it moved around a little bit. Then we're going to bring this down to about a simmer. But this one is kind of hard to tell. There we go. All right, and we're going to let that simmer for about 3 minutes or until the mixture has reduced by 1/3. And you'll start to see it. You'll see the little thickening up through here on the sides. That's just because this pan happens to be warped in the middle. But normally it would be flat, and it'll start to get cloudy, and then you'll start to notice it reducing. When it's fully reduced, you're going to add the butter, and that will lock it in and be really, really good. So give me a few minutes to get this reduction down here, and we'll add the butter and the parsley. And we'll try it out. So you'll notice here, about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes later, it's starting to thicken up a little bit. Now what will finish the sauce is the butter. So we're going to add that in. But yeah, you're starting to get it a little bit thicker without putting any kind of cornstarch or flour in there or anything. So we're going to toss in our butter out here. And that's about 2 tablespoons full. If I can get it to move around in here. There we go. And this will finish the sauce. Then what I'll do is I'm going to add the, once this is melted, I will add the veal back to it, and we'll see how good this comes out. We'll give it a taste test. So let me finish that up, and I'll bring you back when we got the veal. So it's all finished up. I'm going to take a piece out here and give it a try. See how it tastes. That looks really good. All right. Cut a little end off here. I haven't had veal in a very long time, so this will probably be pretty good. That's what it looks like done. Man, that is awesome. That is incredible. That's really, really good. And you can see how nice and thick that sauce got. So you come out with some really nice stuff there. So we're going to plate this up, finish up the video, give you a little more information on freeze-dried wholesalers, and remind you that that link that I have there will save you 15% on your entire order. Let me finish this up and put it on a plate, make it look pretty, and we'll be right back. All right, so there you go. Veal piccata, really simple, very easy. You see how easy the recipe is. The biggest thing when you're making the sauce is just to have the patience to let it reduce down and get thicker on its own without adding cornstarch or anything else. And a really simple meal you can make that has that really good home-cooked feel. It's a nice comfort food, and again, you're making your own stuff. You know, Mountain House isn't putting this in a bag and saying, this is the veal you'll have, this is the chicken you'll have, this is the sauce. You're creating your own stuff very easily, just with your own skill. So that's why I like freeze-dry wholesalers as far as survival food goes. Makes for a really good meal. Very, very easy to use. That stuff hydrates very quickly. One thing I do caution about is when you hydrate it, make sure when you go to fry it, you do crush out the water a little bit. It'll be a little bit waterlogged, and what happened is it will steam and get tough, and you don't want that. So this came out perfect, because that's what I did. When it was hydrated, I put it on a cooking sheet and just pushed it down, made sure it was all flat, got all the water out. So that way it's hydrated, but it's not sopping wet when you drop it into hot oil, and then it gets kind of tough. Anyway, folks, that's the video for today. As you can see, awesome results. Really like their veal. Their veal is really good, I gotta say. And this is the stuff here, and you can see there's no junk in this. Ingredients, veal. That's it, all right? 25 years from now, I can open that bag up. Well, about 1 year now, because I've opened it. But I've used them longer than that. But 25 years from now, I know I can open that bag up and know that I can make myself a delicious meal with it as long as, and that's why I tell people, make sure you're storing all your condiments and spices and stuff too, because just cooking plain veal would be kind of boring. You want to have that salt, that pepper, the capers, the chicken stock, all that. And you can get that, and it can store very well just sitting in your storeroom, you know, in a temperature-controlled environment. It doesn't all need to be frozen. So that's the video for today, folks. Hope you guys liked it. My link for freeze-dried wholesalers will be down below. Definitely check them out. They make some amazing food, everything you could possibly want. Now they got veal, they got steaks. They have a one-of-a-kind process that allows them to actually freeze-dry entire steaks, entire veal pieces, anything you want, from cheesecake to filet mignon. Will be at freeze-dried wholesalers. And don't forget to click my link to go there so that you save the 15%. When you're all done shopping, in your shopping cart, it will show you Iridium 242 discount, 15% off. So you can save a whole lot of money if you stock up. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. That link will be down below. Our Amazon affiliate store is down there too. If you want to just bookmark the link, use it whenever you shop, or you can check out what's in our store. We have a bunch of cool stuff in our store that we use in the channel, day-to-day, things like stoves and stuff, along with some gear that we've reviewed. You can use that. Great way to help the channel. You don't have to do anything. Doesn't cost you a penny. Our My Patriot supply link, that's preparewithiridium.com. We got amazing deals on some freeze-dried food. Again, it is prepackaged, but if you have nothing, good way to get started with a 3-month kit. $200 off a 3-month kit. Under $600 for 3 months worth of food stored away. Below that, our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store, awesome food company as well. Those are the 3 companies that I trust with my storage, and I feel you guys can too. I thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.